loves, Send here coming at you with another video, and this one will be slightly different than the ones that you see here on my channel. My client here is getting a ceramic press, and she's also getting a couple tracks added, and by a couple I mean 2. A lot of you guys have been emailing me asking me different ways that you guys can structure your business, and you guys also send me a whole lot of different stories that happen to you with like clients and things of that nature, and I figured that this video would be a very good way to answer some of those questions and put some of your concerns to rest, because the reality of it is not everything is as easy as we make it look. A lot of times most people only post the good stuff that happens, but not necessarily the things that aren't always favorable in different situations that you can run into. So I want to do a little bit more of that here on my channel. Some may like it and some may not like it that much, but I mean, it's an acquired taste. If it's not a taste you acquire, then click off, girl. So anyway, I have completely saturated my client's hair with Silk Fusion polish, which is a great leave-in detangler that's not really available, so I don't know why I'm talking about it, but I am going to leave some information in the description box below of some amazing leave-in conditioners that you guys can use. It's really important that you use an excellent conditioner, leave-in conditioner, whenever you're doing the blowout process, because you want to make sure that the hair is very well protected during the blowout process, because heat damage honestly could start here. A lot of times it does start here, because keep in mind the straightening process is an ending. It's only to polish everything off. All of your work is done here during the blowout, so you guys keep watching. Okay, you guys, so let's get into the booking part of this service, or this kind of sort of tutorial that I want to tell you guys about. It's going to be a tutorial for, you know, the service that I'm providing as well as business. So normally, well, not normally, the way that I run my business is through an online booking system. I'll leave that booking system in the description box below. And the way that booking system works is, once somebody books an appointment, I know exactly how long it's going to take me to do each service, and the next person is able to book an appointment based upon the time frame that I have entered into the computer. So once a person's appointment is over, that next person is able to book when that appointment ends. So if I run over in any way, shape, or form, I will be one of those hairstylists that has TT, Mimi, Bree, and them all sitting in there under the dryer for 15 years while I'm doing 17 other people, you know. So the way that I keep from doing that is I do online booking. The only dilemma that comes into play with online booking is if your clients don't follow directions, or if they get a little confused, or if they book the wrong thing. And in this case, she booked a ceramic press and two tracks, to be exact, to get 2 tracks put in. So with my online booking system, I only had enough time to do exactly that, because literally the next appointment was gonna come as soon as that appointment was gonna be over. And if anybody has ever sat in my chair, you know that I am on my time down to the T. Like, most of my clients know, well, all of my clients know, after they pay me, or like as they're paying me, my next client will be coming in, and they'll literally be walking past each other. That's how in sync my booking system is. But for me to maintain that, I have to be very, very stern about the rules that I keep. So in this case, it was kind of a little tough for us because we were a little crunch for time, only because I could only do the service that she booked, but she needed a lot more than that. So she booked up 2 tracks, like I said. So with 2 tracks, I end up doubling the wefts. And normally whenever somebody books that they want 2 tracks is because they want to add volume. So just adding a couple of pieces is only for volume. It's not for length. And the reason that it's not for length is because if you don't have a substantial amount of weight from root to ends evenly, it kind of looks the way some people with really, really damaged hair looks right before I cut it after it's silk pressed. You know, like once the hair that you can see through, it'll look like that if it's too much of a length difference and we're only adding 2 tracks. And then keep in mind, with the way that I do my books, I cannot go over that time frame. And I know there'll be a lot of people listening to this that'll be like, oh, that's mean and you're supposed to just do whatever. But no, it doesn't work like that, you guys. It's 2 sides of the spectrum. Most people here on my channel or just on social media period are like, oh my god, I hate going to hair salons because hairstylists have you sitting there for like hours and hours on end. And I mean, hey, you have to pick one. You either are there for hours or you go to a person who has complete and total structure. So this portion of this voiceover and this talk through is literally just for everybody to get an understanding, for hairstylists to stop double booking, for hairstylists that are getting into the industry that want to know how to book and how to start their books, and then just as a consumer, you to understand that if you do go to a stylist that's really, really like, okay, I have a grace period for this and I have a 5-minute grace period, a 15-minute, 20-minute grace period, it's not because she's being nasty. This is the way we have to go. Oh, and by the way, she was telling me something like an update in her life, and I was like really, really happy for her and stuff. So we had like a little kumbaya hug moment, girl. Yes. But anywho, as we're combing through, because it's a black cape, you can see, but then you can't. It is a very drastic length, and not only is it a drastic, oh, you can see right there, not only is it a drastic length difference, but it's a drastic color difference as well. And remember, we only have time for 2 double tracks. Like, so this one was a tough one for me. This one was a doozy, you guys. And remember, I want to say this day in particular, I really cannot remember, you guys, because I think this video, anyway, I want to say she was probably like my 3rd of 11 clients that day. So I could not go over time. And normally I do, for anything like this, like a really, really drastic length difference, you guys, I'm always doing like a minimum of a partial, but time just didn't allow. You guys will see in a minute, she was in a rush, so we had to make it do what it do, baby. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm just going through, and before I had quite a few needles threaded, but I had 2 weaves before her appointment, so I didn't have any needles threaded. But I recommend you guys pre-threading your needles. It's this Amazon link, and I'll put it in the description box below, and you can buy like a crap load of needles and just get them bad boys threaded up at the beginning of the day. And if you get those needles threaded at the beginning of the day, girl, you don't have nothing to worry about. So now I'm going ahead and attaching the weft to the beads. If you guys want to know a little bit more about beaded extensions, then let me know, and then I will do a full-fledged video on beaded extensions. Just to let me know. This video is more so about blending and booking and time frames and stuff, because I feel like if I give you guys a visual of not only her hair but certain things behind it, then it'll help you to understand different things about the industry a little bit more. So right here I am I'm blah blah blah. I'm doing the extra slip knot at the end, and now I'm going to go ahead and double the track. I don't like to fold the wefts whenever I'm doing single wefted extensions because it'd be lumpy, girl, and that ain't cute. And also this hair it has a lot of synthetic fibers in it, and sometimes synthetic fibers are really hard to work with as it pertains to beaded extensions, especially because you have natural hair and the other material in at the same time, and you just have to create extra double triple slip knots because over time it slips a lot because I don't use a cotton thread, I use a nylon thread. So just keep that in mind whenever you guys are doing your slip knots. And I'm doing this last slip knot at the very end, you guys. And yeah, that is it for us installing the wefts. Now this part alone, installing the wefts, took quite a substantial amount of time, you guys. So we could not have done anything extra, and honestly, to make it perfection, I would have needed to add about 3 more rows, which is equivalent to a partial weave. So that's why I don't necessarily do that all the time. So now I'm just making sure I have gotten rid of all of the extra thread. The little extra pieces that you see on the side, I don't sew directly on the beginning of that weft, but yeah, you guys. So now I am separating everything, and I am going to go in and straighten, and we are going to see exactly what we're working with, what I can and cannot do. This is a very drastic length. I want to say it's about 5 inches longer than her natural hair. So but we're gonna see what we can do. Now I am going ahead and I'm using Kimbra's Platinum Hot Spray as a heat protectant, you guys. Her hair is pretty low porosity, so I'm not using the oil-based heat protectant on her hair because it is gonna hold everything. And right there you can see the drastic length difference, you guys. So yeah, I will be very honest and say that on this part I was like, oh Lord, okay, I had to put on my thinking cap, y'all. Had to put my thinking socks on, Jesus. But now we're just going ahead through, and I'm just gonna go ahead and glide this flat iron through. I have I know you guys are gonna ask me in the comments below, but I have this flat iron on 350. Her hair doesn't really take a substantial amount of heat. Like, it doesn't need like an outrageous amount of heat, so it's not a big deal at all. And the hair, like I said, it had a lot of synthetic fibers in it, so I had to turn it down, and I put it on 300 whenever I switched. And I did have to like wait a little bit for a second, like once I got up here, just so it can cool down. But now we are going to go ahead through. If you have not noticed, I am talking all the way through this video, okay? And I know somebody's gonna make a comment, it say voiceover, y'all, but now you can see, you guys, this is a drastic length difference, like a drastic length and color difference, but we're gonna work it out. At this point, even though she has low porosity hair, I am going to add an additional oil. You guys didn't get to see me do that part, but I added a little bit of Kimbra's Silkening Gloss, and I put it all over my hands and rubbed it on kind of like lotion. And I put that all over her head, and that is going to help me blend this hair into this other hair. And I'm using a very small tooth comb because it is going to help me separate everything the way I need it to be, so everything will blend. And yeah, you guys, I'll come back whenever it's time for us to get to cutting. Okay, so we are pretty much finished. No, not pretty much. We're finished with the straightening process, and I should have switched the capes for you guys, but like I said, she was in a rush and, you know, had to go, so we couldn't switch capes and all of that stuff. So I'm just getting as much of it off as I can. At this point, I'm trying to conserve as much length as possible because in her mind, this appointment was kind of going to be like a hair extension appointment, like for like length, like basically the result that you would get if you were to have gotten a partial weave. So at this point, I'm like trying to even it out and save some, but even as I pull it up, you guys can see like the definite like missing lines and not bald spots like in her hair, but whenever you pull the hair directly up, you can see the holes that are in there with me attempting to try to keep it at this length, because like I said, whenever you guys get individual tracks are for volume, and by volume I mean to make your hair look fuller and bigger, not longer. If you want to add additional length, you would get like I said, like a partial or a full weave, you know, for length, so you don't have to have, you know, those lines of demarcation. But it is completely okay. That's why I really do love layers, because layers is a really good way for you to even a haircut out without taking away all of the length, you guys. So that is pretty much it. At this point, we are just gonna go ahead through, and I am going to do some corrective cutting to try to save as much of the length as I possibly can, but I don't know if we are going to be able to do that, and you don't know either. So why don't you keep watching and find out, girl? Just to let you know, because I know somebody's granddaughter is going to be saying something about it, I was not irritated or annoyed with my client at all, and I didn't even charge her extra for the haircut that we ended up having to do, because the haircut wasn't included in the price, because most people that get a couple tracks added don't want to cut. So I didn't charge her for the haircut that I had to give her, the layered cut that I had to give her. So I'm not doing this to be mean or anything like that. It's just so anybody who's ever in this situation knows how to deal with it, okay? Do me right. Do me right. Okay, so at this point, I saved as much as I possibly could. It definitely added a lot of fullness, and you can see a slight difference in length a little bit, but not so much, because if I would have just left it, it would have kind of looked like a mullet, and that wouldn't have been cute, you know. So now we are going to go ahead and style it for something like this, where you need a little bit more hair. Normally I would do a part on the side, just because it's easier to create an illusion that way. You can put most of the weight on one side, but in this case she really wanted a middle part, so it was fine. We still were able to work everything out with her wanting the middle part and all of that. But like I said, this is a case where, you know, even though the tools weren't all there, we still got everything done. So if you guys like this video and you want more educational real videos like this, then let me know. I'm going to share as much with you guys as I possibly can. If I don't share details, it's because I can't. I would have loved it if we could have added way more hair, but yeah, it just didn't go with the way everything goes. Yes, I love you guys so much, and leave your comments below. Make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe, and until my next video, bye girl.